Hi, welcome to our basic PYTHA training session. In this session, we'll be covering two aspects of our PYTHA function. The first one, we'll be looking into drawer generator, and the second function that we'll be looking at is our part list. Okay, you can see right here in the middle, I have a plain carcass over here, and we'll proceed to do our drawer generator. Okay, so let's go to generator on the right hand side here. Click on it once, and you can see drawer here. Right click one more time. Okay, you can see straight away PYTHA is asking you for a major point over here when you look at the command line. Okay, so the first major point for our drawer generator will be our bottom left front, where my mouse is right here. I repeat, bottom left front. Click on it once, and you can see PYTHA asks for our second point. Our second point will be top right front. I repeat, top right front. Click on it, and you can see that we have a dialog box that pops up over here. Alright, so let me just quickly briefly run through over here. Okay, the left hand part of the dialog box over here, where my mouse is hovering, control the front of our drawer. Alright, and the middle here, control your drawer box. Okay, and here we can control the number of drawers that we want to do. And over here, we can do whether we want to have shelves or not. And over here, we have our runner list. Okay, so let me just give a more detailed explanation of what is going on here. Okay, you can see over here on the left side the dimension, the width, alright, the height, okay, the thickness control. This refers to the front panel that we have. Okay, this refers to this front panel over here. Alright, and we can also change the drawer to an outside front. Okay, we can see it's now outside front. Okay, so that's where we can change the settings. Alright, so let me just put it back. Okay, and let me just explain to you that what is the gap over here. Okay, this gap over here, let me just do a screenshot. Okay, so this gap that we have, okay, there is 2 now, refers to the gap here where my red line is. Okay, so this control the gap between your drawers over here, and we also control the gap on the outside area. Let me just change the blue pen. Okay, you can see over here the distance where I put equal 1 each refers to the gap where my blue line is tracing out here. Alright, so you can actually control. If you don't want it to be equal, you can actually change it to maybe 2, 1, 2, 2. Okay, for example. Okay, but for easy reference, we just keep 1 and we will keep it to equal so that we have equal gap between all of them, and we can change the gap to 1 as well. Okay, one of the things to take note when you're designing a drawer and when you're using the drawer generator is that remember to leave at least a 1 mm gap. Alright, because if you have a 0 mm gap, your drawer will not be able to go in. Alright, and over here you can see you can change the handle. Alright, so this is where we can control the number of drawers, the drawer box. You can see that we can control the height. Okay, let me just turn off the solid over here. Okay, so you can see that the height is over here. Okay, the height, the side panel thickness, where is your offset for your runner. Okay, the bottom panel dimensions. Okay, you can see that you can put whether there's grooving on the side and the front, or whether you're going to groove at the back. Okay, the back panel was the dimension, the height and the thickness, and you can also include whether you want a front part over here. You can see, keep a lookout for this block over here. When I off it, there is the front part is removed. Okay, this is where you can control as well. Okay, so have a look at this panel over here. You can see that there is a shelf under every drawer. This is controlled by here where my mouse is. You can actually change it. Okay, you can change and remove it. Okay, so you can see you can also adjust the thickness and the depth. Okay, and also lastly we have the bloom runner list over here. Okay, this currently the setting is set as bloom standard 350. Okay, let me just turn off our solid and tilt it a little bit. Okay, so you can see as I change my runner list, for example 600, okay, you notice, oh, I have some red, my drawer is way too deep. Okay, it's too long for my carcass. And so this is a good gauge where you can do your drawing and you can know whether it is a good fit or not. Okay, look at, if I change it down to 400, it's still a little bit protruding out. So let's bring it down to 350. Alright, this should be a good fit over here. Alright, so let me just turn off the solid again. Let me show you some tricks on this. Okay, you would have realized that there is some red dots over here where my mouse is. Alright, these red dots are actually the CNC data from using a Bloom Standard 350. So if I were to change it to let's see, Bloom Tandem 350, okay, you might see that let me see if the dots changes. Okay, let me try to find. Okay, I'll use a heat gauge 350. You can see the red dots actually changes. Okay, so these red dots are the CNC details of the roller that you have used. Okay, so when I'm happy with this, I'll just click OK, and this drawer is just being done nicely for you. Okay, so the good thing about this drawer generator is that all the CNC details are already given to you based on the runner list. Alright, so let me just quickly go on to our part list. Okay, let's go to click on main, and we can go to part list over here. Alright, click one more time. Okay, when we go to part list, we can select what we want. Okay, let's click on all parts on the right hand side here. Let's click all parts to select it and hit enter. So straight away you can see that PYTHA generates your part list. Okay, one thing to note is that you can see, okay, a part list actually takes name from our project tree. So it is very important to name your parts appropriately. Okay, so right now we have this part list and we can include more details. Okay, so on my mouse, on over here, this blank space, right click, insert column right. Okay, let's click on attribute, bring it down to dimension box L1. Click on it and click OK. So we can add in L2 and L3 as well. So we're going to proceed with it. Right click, insert column right. Click on attribute and choose dimension box L2 and click OK. Next thing, insert again and insert column right, attribute, dimension box L3 and OK. So right now you can see that we have the dimension of all our panels over here. Okay, one key thing to note is that when we talk about L1 in PYTHA, L1 refers to the longest length, longest dimension. Okay, L2 refers to the second longest one, and L3 is the shortest length. So L3 is usually typical dimension of the panel that you are using. Okay, it gives you an estimate on what kind of panels that you have, like 18 mm, 20 mm, 8 mm, etc. Okay, so this is where we can use your part list. Okay, we can also export. Okay, you can look on the right hand side over here. You can actually export our part list to a text file, or let me just let it, okay, sorry, again, this is a file name. Okay, you can just export it to a text file or a Excel spreadsheet, even Word document. Okay, so this is very good when you do your documentation. Okay, so let me just, so you can see pretty easily PYTHA generates everything for you. Okay, so thank you for your time, and we'll see you in other training sessions. Thank you.